Admiral Lee Jiho stood on the bridge of his warship, watching the stars through the big window. His uniform was old but clean, with many medals showing his years of service. He had fought in 47 wars for the Galactic Federation. Each war had cost human lives while other alien races got rich and safe. The communication system made a loud beep. A message was coming from Earth. Lee Jiho walked to the screen and pressed a button. Ambassador Choi Nari appeared on the screen. Her face looked very worried and angry. "Admiral Lee," she said, "we have a big problem. The High Council has given us an ultimatum." Lee Jiho felt his heart beat faster. "What kind of ultimatum?" Choi Nari took a deep breath. "They want us to give up all our weapons. They want us to let them change our genes to make us less aggressive, and they want us to become their slaves forever. If we say no, they will destroy Earth and kill every human in the galaxy." The bridge went quiet. All the officers stopped what they were doing and looked at the screen. Captain Kim Do-yoon, Lee Jiho's best pilot, stepped closer. "How long do we have?" Lee Jiho asked. 30 days, Choi Nari said. "They expect our answer in 30 days. Lee Jiho felt anger growing in his chest. For 200 years, humans had served the Federation. They had fought wars that other races were too scared to fight. They had built weapons and ships that other races could not build. They had died protecting worlds that did not even like them. "Have you talked to Dr. Park Miran about this?" Lee Jiho asked. "Yes. She is studying all the Federation files we can get. She says she has found something very interesting, something that changes everything." The screen went dark. Lee Jiho turned to his officers. They all looked angry and worried. These were good people who had served with honor. They had families back on Earth. They had fought for peace and justice across the galaxy. Captain Kim Do-yoon spoke first. "Sir, what are your orders?" Lee Jiho thought for a moment. He remembered his first day in the Federation military. A young human soldier, ready to serve and protect. He remembered all the friends who had died in alien wars. He remembered the promises that humans would be treated as equals. All lies. 3 hours later, Lee Jiho was in a video call with the other human commanders. General Kang Minho appeared on the screen from Earth. Dr. Park Miran was with him. She looked tired but determined. "I have been reading the secret Federation files," Dr. Park Miran said. "Everything we suspected is true. They have been stealing our technology for decades. Every weapon we built, they copied and said they made it. Every battle we won, they took credit for it. Every human who died, they called it necessary sacrifice." She put some papers on the table. "But there is more. They are afraid of us. Very afraid. Their own scientists say that humans are becoming too smart and too strong. They think we will take over the Federation in 50 years. General Kang Minho leaned forward. "So they want to stop us now before we get too powerful?" "Exactly," Dr. Park Miran said. "But they do not know everything. We have been preparing for this day. We have been building weapons they do not know about. We have been studying their weaknesses. We have been getting ready." Lee Jiho felt a cold smile on his face. "What kind of weapons?" Dr. Park Miran smiled back. "The kind that will make them very sorry they threatened us." Over the next 10 days, human ships across the galaxy began to move. They said it was routine rotation. They said it was normal training. But really they were coming home to Earth. Human soldiers left their posts. Human engineers packed up their equipment. Human families began to disappear from alien worlds. The Federation noticed but did not worry. They thought humans were just scared. They thought humans were running away to hide. They were wrong. Colonel Han Seok led secret missions to get human civilians off Federation worlds. His teams moved at night using small ships that the aliens could not detect. Lieutenant Yoon Hana used her computer skills to break into alien networks. She stole back human technology and learned about Federation military plans. On Earth, factories worked day and night. They built new ships with weapons the Federation had never seen. They built defenses that could stop any attack. They built tools of war that would change the galaxy forever. Ambassador Choi Nari received many calls from alien leaders. They wanted to know why humans were leaving their jobs. They wanted to know why human ships were going back to Earth. She told them the same thing every time. "We are thinking about your offer. We will give you an answer soon." But Lee Jiho already knew the answer. He had known it from the moment he heard the ultimatum. Humans would not become slaves. They would not let aliens change their genes. They would not give up their weapons. On the 29th day, Lee Jiho stood in the communication center on Earth. Dr. Park Moran was next to him. General Kang Minho was there too. Captain Kim Doyen and all the other human commanders watched from their ships. Lee Jiho looked at the camera. He thought about every human who had died for the Federation. He thought about every promise the aliens had broken. He thought about the future his people deserved. He pressed the button to send a message to every Federation world. Every alien leader, every being in the galaxy who thought humans were weak. This is Admiral Lee Jiho, speaking for all humans everywhere, he said. His voice was calm but strong. You have given us a choice. Submit or die. Become slaves or face destruction. He paused and looked directly into the camera. We choose neither. We choose war. You made this choice when you decided we were not worthy of equality. You made this choice when you stole our work and called it your own. You made this choice when you sent us to die in your wars while you stayed safe at home. The communication center was completely quiet. Now face the repercussions. The message ended. Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched in shock. They had expected fear. They had expected begging. They had expected humans to submit like good slaves. Instead, they got a declaration of war from the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. On Earth, the defense systems came online. New weapons pointed at the stars. Human ships took positions around the planet. Soldiers checked their equipment one last time. They did not have long to wait. The First Federation fleet was already on its way to Earth. They came expecting to find a defenseless world ready to surrender. They would find something very different. Lee Jiho stood on his ship's bridge and watched the enemy ships appear on his screen. There were 50 of them. Big ships with powerful weapons. In the old days, he would have been worried. Today, he smiled. All ships, he said into his communicator. Show them what humans can do. The battle for Earth's freedom was about to begin. The Federation fleet came out of hyperspace near Earth like angry wasps. 50 big warships with enough firepower to destroy a planet. Admiral Corvin, a tall blue alien with 4 arms, commanded the fleet. He had destroyed 12 rebellious worlds in his long career. He expected this to be easy. Send the surrender demand, Corvin told his communications officer. Tell the humans they have 1 hour to give up, or we will blast their planet into dust. On Earth, Admiral Lee Jiho received the message. He was standing in the command center deep underground. Dr. Park Moran was next to him, watching screens full of data. General Kang Minho stood behind them with his arms crossed. 1 hour, Lee Jiho said. How thoughtful of them. Dr. Park Moran smiled. Should we show them our new toys now? Not yet, Lee Jiho said. Let them get closer. Let them think they are winning. Above Earth's surface, the Federation ships moved into attack position. They spread out in a battle formation that had worked against dozens of other worlds. Their weapons charged up with bright energy. Their commanders felt confident and proud. They did not see the human ships hiding behind Earth's moon. They did not detect the defense platforms that looked like space rocks. They did not know about the new technology that Dr. Park Moran had spent 10 years developing. Admiral Corvin waited exactly 1 hour. When no surrender came, he gave the order to attack. Fire all weapons, he commanded. Hundreds of energy beams shot toward Earth. They hit an invisible barrier and disappeared like raindrops on glass. The Federation weapons did nothing. Not even a scratch on Earth's new shields, what? Corvin shouted. How is that possible? His science officer checked his instruments. Sir, the humans have some kind of energy shield we have never seen before. Our weapons cannot get through. Corvin felt the first touch of worry. Then we get closer. Concentrate all fire on one spot. The Federation ships moved toward Earth. That was exactly what Lee Jiho wanted. Now, he said quietly. The human fleet appeared from behind the moon like ghosts becoming real. Captain Kim Doyen led them in his new fighter ship. These were not the old human ships the Federation knew. These were faster, stronger, and armed with weapons that the aliens had never imagined. The battle lasted 12 minutes. Human ships moved like dancers in space. They were too fast for the Federation weapons to hit. Their new energy cannons cut through alien armor like hot knives through butter. One by one, the Federation ships exploded in bright flashes. Admiral Corvin's ship was the last to die. As his bridge filled with smoke and fire, he sent one final message to the Federation High Council. The humans have new weapons. Very powerful. Send more ships. Send everything. Then his ship exploded too. News of the destroyed fleet spread across the galaxy like wildfire. In the Federation capital, the High Council held an emergency meeting. 5 ancient alien races sat around a crystal table, their faces showing shock and anger. "Impossible," said Counselor Vex, a creature that looked like a giant spider. "Humans do not have that kind of technology." "They do now," said Counselor Jarn, whose people looked like walking trees. "The question is how they got it." On Earth, Colonel Han Seok was already moving to the next part of the plan. He commanded the special operations teams that worked in secret. His job was to get human civilians off alien worlds before the real fighting started. His ships were small and fast, painted black to hide in space. They landed on Federation worlds at night when the aliens were sleeping. Human families who had lived on these worlds for generations packed quickly and quietly. Children carried their favorite toys. Parents carried important papers and photos. "Move fast but stay quiet," Colonel Han Seok told his teams. "We cannot save everyone, but we will save as many as we can." Lieutenant Yoon Hana had a different job. She was the best computer expert the humans had. While the aliens worried about their destroyed fleet, she broke into their computer networks. She stole back technology that the Federation had taken from humans. She copied their military plans and ship designs. "Look at this," she told Dr. Park Moran over a secure communication link. "They have been stealing from us for 50 years. Everything they call Federation technology was built by human minds." Dr. Park Moran was not surprised. "Keep copying. We need to know everything they have." Lieutenant Yoon Hana worked for 3 days without sleeping. She found files that showed the Federation's true feelings about humans. They called humans useful animals in their secret reports. They made jokes about human deaths in their private messages. They planned to use human slaves to build their weapons after they won the war. "Send this to all the human commanders," Dr. Park Moran said when she saw the files. "They need to know what we are really fighting for." The Federation High Council was busy too. They sent messages to every world in their empire. Every race that served the Federation had to send ships to fight the humans. They promised great rewards for victory and terrible punishment for disobedience. But some races did not want to fight. The Kalari people had worked with humans for many years. They knew humans were good people who helped others. The Novan traders had made friends with human merchants. They did not want to kill their friends. These races sent secret messages to Earth. They wanted to help the humans fight the Federation. They were tired of being ruled by the 5 ancient races who treated everyone else like servants. Admiral Lee Jiho read these messages with growing hope. Humans would not fight alone. They would have allies who wanted freedom just as much as they did. Meanwhile, Captain Shin Woo-jin prepared for his special mission. He commanded a new type of ship that the Federation could not see or detect. It was painted with special materials that bent light around it. Its engines made no sound or heat signature. "Time to show them what fear feels like," Captain Shin Woo-jin said to his crew. His ship, the Silent Thunder, left Earth's orbit and jumped to hyperspace. Its target was a Federation supply base in the Centaur system. The base provided food and weapons to 12 Federation fleets. The Silent Thunder arrived near the base without being detected. Captain Shin Woo-jin studied the target through his ship's sensors. 300 alien workers and 50 guards. Big storage buildings full of supplies. Shield generators protecting everything. "Fire the gravity torpedoes," Captain Shin Woo-jin ordered. The new weapons hit the base's shields and passed right through them like they were not there. They exploded inside the storage buildings, creating small black holes that sucked everything into nothing. In 30 seconds, the entire base was gone. The Federation guards sent a distress signal, but no one knew what had attacked them. Their sensors showed nothing. Their computers recorded no enemy ships. The base had simply disappeared. Captain Shin Woo-jin and his crew attacked 6 more bases in the next week. Each time they struck without warning and vanished without a trace. Federation commanders began to fear attacks that came from nowhere. On Earth, General Kang Minho watched reports from across the galaxy. Human forces were coming home. Federation supply lines were breaking down. Alien races were starting to question their loyalty to the High Council. "Phase 1 is complete," he told Admiral Lee Jiho. "All human civilians are safe. All human military units are ready for battle. The enemy is confused and scared." Admiral Lee Jiho nodded. "How long before they send a real fleet?" Dr. Park Moran thinks 10 days. Maybe less. Lee Jiho looked at the star maps on his wall. Red dots showed Federation worlds. Blue dots showed human allies. Yellow dots showed worlds that might join the rebellion if humans proved they could win. Then we used those 10 days well. Send orders to all human commanders. Begin Phase 2. Across the galaxy, human ships that had been hiding suddenly revealed themselves. They attacked Federation outposts and supply convoys. They rescued prisoners from alien labor camps. They spread copies of the secret Federation files that showed the aliens' true thoughts about other races. Major O.G. Young led teams of human Marines to planets where humans had been taken as prisoners. What they found made them angry enough to fight 10 times harder. Humans had been used for terrible experiments. Alien scientists had tried to make humans weaker and more obedient. Free them all, Major O.G. Young ordered her Marines. And make sure the galaxy knows what the Federation really does to prisoners. The rescued humans told horrible stories. They had been treated like animals in laboratories. They had been forced to work until they died. They had watched their friends disappear into alien medical centers and never come back. These stories spread across the galaxy faster than any fleet communication. Races that had supported the Federation began to ask questions. If the Federation did this to humans, what would they do to other races who disobeyed? On the Federation capital world, Counselor Vex called another emergency meeting. The spider-like alien was very angry. Her multiple eyes glowed red with fury. The humans are making our allies doubt us, she said. Some races are refusing to send ships. Others are asking too many questions about our prisoner policies. Counselor Jarn's tree-like face was hard as stone. Then we stop asking for help. We gather our own fleets and crush the humans completely. Show the galaxy what happens to those who rebel against us. The other counselors agreed. Orders went out to every Federation fleet. Come to the capital system. Bring every ship, every weapon, every soldier. They would build the largest military force. Dr. Park Miran stood in the secret laboratory deep under Earth's surface. Around her, hundreds of human scientists worked on the most important project in human history. They had been building it for 20 years, stealing alien technology piece by piece and making it better. Is it ready? Admiral Lee Jiho asked as he walked into the laboratory. Dr. Park Moran smiled. More than ready. We have tested it 12 times. It works perfectly every time. She led him to a big window that looked into a huge chamber. Inside was something that looked like a giant metal flower with thousands of petals. Each petal glowed with soft blue light. Energy flowed between them like lightning frozen in time. What does it do? Lee Jiho asked. It controls gravity, Dr. Park Moran said. We can make gravity stronger or weaker anywhere in space. We can create gravity wells that trap ships. We can make black holes that eat entire fleets. We can even stop the Federation's Starkiller weapon. Lee Jiho stared at the machine. How many people know about this? Only the people in this room. And now you? Lee Jiho nodded. Keep it secret until we need it. The Federation is bringing everything they have. When they arrive, we will show them why humans never give up. Across the galaxy, the Federation's largest fleet was gathering, 10,000 ships from hundreds of worlds. Admiral Corvin's replacement, a massive alien called Dreadlord Axon, commanded the fleet from his flagship. Axon was 3 meters tall with skin like black metal. He had never lost a battle in 300 years. How many human ships do we face? Axon asked his intelligence officer. Maybe 2,000, sir. They have good weapons, but we have 5 times more ships. Axon laughed. It sounded like grinding metal. Then this will be easy. We surround their planet and pound it with every weapon we have. Nothing can survive that much firepower. But Axon did not know about the human allies who were secretly moving toward Earth. The Kalari had sent their fastest ships. The Novans brought their merchant vessels loaded with supplies. 12 other races had decided to join the rebellion against the Federation. Captain Shin Woo-jin was still striking Federation targets with his invisible ship. His latest attack had destroyed a weapons factory that supplied the Federation fleet. The aliens were getting desperate. They could not fight an enemy they could not see. Sir, his communications officer said, we are receiving a message from Admiral Lee Jiho. Captain Shin Woo-jin read the message and smiled. Set course for Earth. It is time for the final battle. Major Oh Ji-young had rescued 2,000 human prisoners from Federation camps. The stories they told made her sick with anger. The aliens had done terrible things to humans just to see what would happen. They had treated human children like laboratory animals. Get them to the medical ships, she told her Marines, and make sure they are far from Earth when the fighting starts. Lieutenant Yoon Hana was still deep in the Federation computer networks. She had learned something that changed everything. The Federation's Starkiller weapon was not just a big gun. It was a machine that could destroy entire star systems by making their suns explode. They have used it before, she told Dr. Park Moran over their secret communication channel. 12 rebellious worlds all gone. They made it look like natural disasters. Dr. Park Myron felt cold anger in her heart. How close is it to Earth? 2 days. Maybe less. Dr. Park Moran closed her eyes and thought. The gravity control machine could stop the Starkiller, but only if they knew exactly where it was and how it worked. Can you get into the Starkiller's computer system? She asked. Lieutenant Yoon Hana was quiet for a moment. It will be dangerous. If they catch me, they will know we can break their codes. Do it anyway. We need to know everything about that weapon. Lieutenant Yoon Hana worked for 18 hours straight. She broke through 7 layers of security to get into the Starkiller's control systems. What she found was worse than anyone had imagined. The weapon was not just pointing at Earth, it was aimed at the entire Sol system. When it fired, it would destroy Earth, Mars, and every human colony in the system. Billions of people would die in seconds. Can we destroy it? Admiral Lee Ji-ho asked when he heard the news. Not with normal weapons, Dr. Park Moran said, but we can turn it around. Use their own weapon against them. Lee Ji-ho liked that idea. How? The gravity machine can create a gravity well that pulls the Starkiller's beam back to its source. Whatever they try to destroy, we can make sure it hits them instead. As Dr. Park Moran prepared the gravity machine, Captain Kim Doyen led the human fleet in final preparations. Every ship had been upgraded with new weapons and shields. Every pilot knew this might be their last battle. Remember, Captain Kim Doyen told his pilots, we are not just fighting for Earth. We are fighting for every race that wants to be free. We are fighting for the right to choose our own future. The Federation fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system like a swarm of metal locusts. 10,000 ships spread across space in a formation designed to surround and destroy Earth. Dreadlord Axon felt confident as he looked at his overwhelming numbers. Send the final surrender demand, he ordered. Tell the humans they have 1 hour to give up completely, or watch their world burn. Admiral Lee Ji-ho received the message on Earth. Around him, the command center was full of activity. Officers checked weapon systems and shield generators. Dr. Park Moran made final adjustments to the gravity machine. 1 hour, Lee Ji-ho said. The same as last time. Should we answer? General Kang Min-ho asked. Lee Ji-ho thought for a moment. Then he walked to the communication console and pressed the button to send a message to the Federation fleet. This is Admiral Lee Ji-ho, he said. You want our surrender. Here is our answer. The message that went out was not words. It was a recording of the secret Federation files that Lieutenant Yoon Hana had stolen. Files that showed what the Federation really thought about other races. Files that proved the Federation had been lying for centuries. The message went to every ship in the Federation fleet. It also went to every world in the galaxy. Within minutes, billions of beings knew the truth about their rulers. On many Federation ships, alien crews began to ask questions. Why were they fighting for leaders who called them useful animals? Why were they risking their lives for a government that planned to enslave them all? Some ships turned around and left. Others had fights between officers who wanted to keep fighting and crews who wanted to go home. The Federation's perfect formation began to fall apart. Dreadlord Axon was furious. All ships ignore the human lies and attack immediately. But many ships did not obey. The Federation fleet that had numbered 10,000 was now down to 7,000. Still more than enough to destroy Earth, but not the easy victory Axon had expected. That was when Earth's allies revealed themselves. Ships appeared all around the Federation fleet. Kalari fighters with their bright blue hulls. Novan traders armed for war. Dozens of other races who had decided they were tired of Federation rule. Impossible, Axon said.
How did they get here without us seeing them?
His science officer checked the sensors. Sir, they must have been hiding in the asteroid belt. We never scanned that area completely. Now the numbers were more even. 7,000 Federation ships against 4,000 human and allied ships. Still an advantage for the Federation, but not as big as before. Admiral Lee Ji-ho looked at his tactical display. Red dots for enemy ships, blue dots for human ships, green dots for allies. It looked like a three-dimensional chess game where every move could mean life or death for billions of people. All ships, he said into his communicator, begin the attack. The Battle of Sol began with a flash of light that could be seen from Mars. Thousands of ships fired weapons at the same time. Energy beams and missiles crossed space like deadly fireworks. Human ships moved faster than the Federation had expected. The new engines Dr. Park Moran's team had built let them dance around the slower alien vessels. Human weapons cut through Federation shields like they were made of paper. But the Federation had numbers. For every human ship destroyed, they could send 3 more to take its place. Slowly, the human fleet began to fall back toward Earth. Captain Kim Doyen led a squadron of fighters against a Federation cruiser. His pilots flew like they were born in space, dodging enemy fire and striking with perfect accuracy. The cruiser exploded in a ball of fire and metal. "That's for every human who died in your wars," Captain Kim Doyen said. Captain Shin Woo-jin used his invisible ship to attack Federation command vessels. He appeared out of nowhere, fired his gravity torpedoes, and vanished before the enemy could respond. One by one, Federation admirals lost contact with their fleets. Major Oh Ji-young led boarding parties onto captured Federation ships. Her Marines moved through alien corridors like deadly shadows, freeing prisoners and destroying computer systems. Every ship they captured was one less enemy to fight, but the Federation kept coming. More ships, more weapons, more death raining down on the human defenders. That was when Dr. Park Moran detected the Starkiller weapon moving into firing position. "Admiral," she said urgently, "the Starkiller is almost ready to fire. If we are going to stop it, we need to act now." Admiral Lee Ji-ho looked at the battle raging around Earth. His people were fighting bravely, but they could not hold out much longer. It was time to use their secret weapon. "Activate the gravity machine," he ordered. Deep. The destruction of the Starkiller sent shockwaves through the Federation fleet. Dreadlord Axon stared at his tactical screen in disbelief. His ultimate weapon was gone, destroyed by technology he did not understand. "How?" he whispered. "How did they turn our own weapon against us?" His science officer was frantically checking readings. "Sir, the humans have some kind of gravity control technology. They can bend space itself." Axon felt fear for the first time in 300 years. If humans could control gravity, they could control the battlefield. They could trap ships, create black holes, or even tear his fleet apart with invisible forces. "All ships retreat to minimum safe distance," he ordered. "We regroup and plan a new attack." But Admiral Lee Ji-ho was not going to let them escape. "Captain Nam Hyesu," he said into his communicator, "take your ship and show them what the Eternal Fury can do." Captain Nam Hyesu smiled from the bridge of her massive dreadnought. The Eternal Fury was the biggest ship humans had ever built. It carried weapons that Dr. Park Moran had designed using technology stolen from a dozen alien races. Each weapon was better than anything the Federation had. "All crew, prepare for maximum assault," Captain Nam Hyesu announced. "Let's give these aliens something to remember." The Eternal Fury charged into the Federation fleet like an angry dragon. Its main cannon fired bursts of compressed gravity that crushed enemy ships like tin cans. Its secondary weapons shot streams of plasma that cut through armor like hot wire through ice. Lieutenant Bae Jung-min coordinated the attack from the ship's tactical center. He was only 25 years old, but his mind worked like a computer. He could see patterns in the battle that older officers missed. "Enemy flagship is trying to escape," he reported, sending targeting data to all ships. Human and allied vessels converged on Dreadlord Axon's ship from 6 directions. The alien commander found himself trapped in a net of fire and destruction. His shields failed under the constant attack. His weapons could not target enemies that moved too fast to track. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we are receiving surrender offers from human ships." Axon laughed bitterly. "Tell them that Federation commanders do not surrender." "Yes, sir. They said you would say that. They wanted me to give you this message. Then die like the tyrant you are." Axon's flagship exploded 3 seconds later. With their commander dead, the Federation fleet fell apart completely. Some ships tried to fight alone and were quickly destroyed. Others attempted to escape but found their way blocked by human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. A few ships surrendered, hoping for mercy they had never shown to others. Dr. Song Chaewon watched the battle from her laboratory on Earth. She was a specialist in understanding how alien minds worked. For months she had been preparing psychological weapons to use against the Federation. "Now," she said to her team, "send the fear broadcasts." Across the galaxy, every Federation communication system suddenly carried the same message. videos of the Star Killer's destruction, audio recordings of Dreadlord Axon's final screams, technical data showing how easily human weapons cut through Federation defenses. The message was simple: resistance is futile. Humans cannot be defeated. Anyone who fights them will die. On Federation worlds, panic spread like wildfire. Government officials abandoned their posts and fled to hidden bunkers. Military bases went into emergency lockdown. Civilian populations began to riot, demanding to know why their leaders had started a war they could not win. The psychological attack worked better than Dr. Song Chaewon had hoped. Within hours, 12 Federation worlds declared neutrality. 6 more sent messages to Earth asking for peace talks. The Federation's empire was cracking apart from within. But the human fleet was not finished. Admiral Lee Ji-ho had promised to make the Federation face repercussions for their ultimatum. Those repercussions would reach every world that had supported the attack on Earth. Begin Operation Liberation, he ordered. Human ships scattered across the galaxy like seeds in the wind. Each ship carried specific targets: Federation military bases, government centers, and prison camps where enslaved races were held. Captain Shin Woo-jin took his invisible ship to the Vegan system, where the Federation kept its largest slave labor camps. Millions of beings from conquered worlds worked in mines and factories, building weapons for their oppressors. The silent thunder appeared in orbit without warning. Captain Shin Woo-jin looked down at the planet through his ship's sensors. He could see the camps spread across the surface like scars on the world's face. "All hands prepare for ground assault," he announced. "We are going to free every prisoner on this planet." His ship landed near the largest camp under cover of darkness. Shin Woo-jin led a team of Marines through the camp's defenses. The Federation guards never saw them coming. "You are free," Shin Woo-jin told the prisoners. "The humans have come to liberate you." The prisoners stared at him in disbelief. They had been slaves for so long that freedom seemed like an impossible dream. But as human Marines broke their chains and destroyed their barracks, they began to believe. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Human ships arrived at Federation outposts and military bases. They gave the defenders one chance to surrender. Those who refused were destroyed. Those who gave up were allowed to leave in small ships, carrying news of human victory to other worlds. Major Oh Ji-young led the assault on the Federation's main military academy. This was where young aliens learned to become officers in the Federation fleet. It was also where they learned to think of other races as inferior. "Attention, Federation cadets," she announced over the Academy's communication system. "This is Major Oh Ji-young of the Human Liberation Forces. Your academy is now under our control. You have 2 choices: leave peacefully or be removed by force." Most of the cadets chose to leave. They were young and scared, not ready to die for leaders who had abandoned them. A few officers tried to organize resistance, but human Marines moved through the academy like ghosts, capturing or eliminating anyone who fought back. The academy's computer systems contained valuable information about Federation military plans and officer assignments. Lieutenant Yoon Hana accessed the data remotely and copied everything to human databases. "This is incredible," she told Admiral Lee Ji-ho. "We now know the location of every Federation base, every ship, every secret facility. We have their complete order of battle." Lee Ji-ho studied the new intelligence. The Federation was much weaker than they had pretended. Most of their military strength came from conquered races who were forced to fight. Without those unwilling soldiers, the Federation's true military was less than half the size of the human fleet. "Send this information to our allies," he ordered. "Let them see how weak their oppressors really are." The revelation sparked rebellions across the galaxy. Races that had served the Federation for centuries suddenly realized they outnumbered their masters by 1,000 to 1. On world after world, enslaved populations rose up against their rulers. The Karathi people, who had been conquered 50 years ago, seized control of their home system and declared independence. The Milani traders, who had been forced to pay tribute to the Federation, stopped their payments and began trading with human worlds instead. Even some Federation member races began to question their loyalty. In the Federation capital system, the High Council watched their empire dissolve in real time. Councillor Vex's spider-like body trembled with rage as she read report after report of lost worlds and destroyed fleets. "This is impossible," she said. "Humans are just one small race. How can they destroy an empire that has lasted for 10,000 years?" Councillor Zharn's tree-like face was grim. Because we underestimated them. We thought they were simple warriors. We did not realize they were also brilliant strategists, master engineers, and natural leaders. The council chamber fell silent as the other counselors absorbed this truth. They had built their empire by conquering races one at a time, using superior technology and divide-and-conquer tactics. But humans had united the conquered races against their oppressors. The Federation's own strength had become its weakness. "What do we do now?" asked Counselor Keith, whose people resembled giant insects. "We activate the final protocol," Vex said quietly. The other counselors looked at her in shock. The final protocol was the Federation's last resort, a plan so terrible that they had hoped never to use it. It would destroy entire star systems to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. "Are you certain?" Jarn asked. "Once we begin the final protocol, there is no going back. We will be destroying our own empire to spite our enemies. Better our empire dies than falls to inferior races," Vex replied. "If we cannot rule the galaxy, then no one will." The council voted. 3 in favor, 2 against. The final protocol was activated. Across the galaxy, hidden Federation weapons began to charge. These were not ship-mounted guns, but planet killers buried deep in the crusts of Federation worlds. When activated, they would cause the planet's cores to become unstable, destroying entire systems. Lieutenant Yoon Hana detected the weapons powering up during one of her routine scans of Federation networks. What she found made her blood run cold. "Admiral Lee Ji-ho," she said urgently. "The Federation is activating something called the Final Protocol. They are going to destroy their own worlds rather than let us liberate them." Time was running out. Across the galaxy, human ships raced toward Federation worlds at maximum speed. Each ship carried teams trained to find and disable the planet-killer weapons hidden in planetary cores. They had 6 hours to save billions of innocent lives. Admiral Lee Ji-ho stood in Earth's command center, watching hundreds of red dots on the galaxy map. Each dot represented a world that would soon be destroyed if his people failed. The weight of so many lives pressed down on him like a mountain. "Status report," he said quietly. Lieutenant Bae Jungmin worked at his tactical station, coordinating the largest rescue operation in galactic history. "We have ships en route to 97 target worlds. Dr. Park Moran's teams are analyzing the weapon designs we captured from Federation databases." Dr. Park Moran looked up from her computer screens. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but her voice was steady. "The planet killers are powered by unstable matter reactors buried 20 kilometers underground. If we can disrupt their power flow, the weapons will shut down safely." "If?" Lee Ji-ho asked. "The disruptors we built are untested. We designed them based on stolen Federation plans, but we have never tried to stop weapons this powerful." Lee Ji-ho nodded. "It was a risk they had to take. Send the disruptor plans to all ships. They will have to build them while they travel." On the Federation capital world, Counselor Vex watched the countdown timer with satisfaction. In 4 hours and 37 minutes, the first wave of planet killers would activate. 50 Federation worlds would be destroyed in brilliant flashes of light, taking their populations with them. "The humans cannot possibly reach all the weapons in time," she told the other counselors. "Even if they save some worlds, they will lose billions of people. The galaxy will see that opposing the Federation leads only to death." Counselor Jarn was not so confident. "The humans have surprised us before. Their technology is more advanced than we thought possible. No technology can overcome the laws of physics," Vex replied. "They simply do not have enough ships to reach every target." She was right, and Admiral Lee Ji-ho knew it. Humanity had fewer than 2,000 ships scattered across the galaxy. The Federation had planted weapons on 300 worlds. Even if every human ship succeeded, most of the weapons would still fire. That was when Captain Kim Doyen proposed a desperate plan. "Sir," he said over the communication link from his fighter squadron, "what if we do not try to disarm all the weapons? What if we only disarm the ones that will cause chain reactions?" Dr. Park Moran looked up sharply. "Chain reactions? The Federation built their weapons to destroy star systems, not just planets," Captain Kim Doyen explained. "If we can identify which weapons will cause their stars to explode, we can focus on those. The other weapons will only destroy their planets, which is terrible, but not catastrophic." Dr. Park Moran ran calculations on her computer. He is right. About 60 of the weapons are positioned to destabilize their star systems. If those stars explode, the shock waves will destroy everything within 50 light-years. Lee Jiho felt a spark of hope. How many ships would we need to stop the chain reactions? 60 ships, sir. We can save most of the galaxy if we sacrifice the rest. It was a horrible choice, but Lee Jiho made it without hesitation. Send new target priorities to all ships. Focus on the Starkillers first. Save as many people as we can. Captain Shin Woojin received the new orders while his ship was still in hyperspace. The Silent Thunder was heading for the Vegan system, where he had liberated the slave camps. Now he learned that the Federation planned to destroy the entire system and everyone in it. Engineering, he called to his crew. I need more speed. Sir, we are already at maximum velocity, his engineer replied. If we push the engines any harder, they might explode. Then let them explode after we reach our target. Those people trusted us to protect them. We will not let them down. The Silent Thunder's engines roared with power beyond their design limits. The ship shot through hyperspace like a comet, leaving a trail of energy behind it. On the Vegan system's main world, the liberated slaves looked up at their sky and wondered why it seemed brighter than usual. They did not know that deep beneath their feet, a weapon was charging that would turn their sun into a bomb. Major Oh Ji-young was racing toward the Proxima system in her assault ship. Her target was a Federation research world where alien scientists had been experimenting on captured humans. The Federation planned to destroy the evidence of their crimes along with the planet. Ma'am, her pilot said, we are getting reports from other ships. Some of the Federation worlds are surrendering. They want our protection from their own government's weapons. Oh Ji-young smiled grimly. Send a message to those worlds. Tell them to evacuate their planets if they can. We will do our best to save them, but we cannot promise anything. Lieutenant Yoon Hana worked frantically in her computer center on Earth. She had broken into the Federation's weapon control network and was trying to delay the countdown. Every minute she could buy might save millions of lives. I am in their primary control system, she told Dr. Park Moran. I can slow down some of the weapons but not stop them. The Federation built too many safeguards. Do what you can, Dr. Park Moran replied. Every second counts. As human ships raced across the galaxy, word of the Federation's plan spread to every civilized world. The reaction was immediate and fierce. Races that had stayed neutral in the war suddenly declared their support for humanity. Even some Federation member worlds turned against their own government. The Andrari Council, which had ruled 100 systems for 1,000 years, sent an emergency message to Admiral Lee Jiho. We hereby renounce our membership in the Galactic Federation and request immediate protection under the Human Liberation Alliance. Similar messages flooded in from across the galaxy. The Federation's final protocol had revealed their true nature to everyone. They were not protectors of galactic civilization, but destroyers who would commit genocide rather than lose power. On the Federation capital world, Counselor Vex watched her empire collapse in real time. Every hour brought news of more defections, more rebellions, more worlds choosing human protection over Federation rule. It does not matter, she told herself. Soon there will be nothing left for them to rule. The first human ships reached their targets with minutes to spare. Captain Nam Hisu brought the Eternal Fury into orbit around a Federation fortress world. Her sensors detected the planet killer weapon 20 kilometers below the surface. All teams deploy immediately, she ordered. We have 17 minutes before this thing goes off. Her engineers raced down to the planet's surface in small shuttles. They carried Dr. Park Moran's disruptor devices and prayers that the untested technology would work. The Federation had built their weapons to be impossible to disarm, but humans had always been good at doing impossible things. Deep underground, the disruptor devices attached to the weapon's power core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the weapon's charging sequence began to slow down, like a clock running out of power. It is working, one of the engineers reported. The weapon is shutting down safely. Captain Nam Hyesu felt relief flood through her. 1 down, 59 to go. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out on world after world. Some human teams succeeded in disarming the weapons. Others arrived too late and could only evacuate as many people as possible before the planets died. Captain Shin Woo-jin reached the Vegan system with only 3 minutes left on the countdown. His ship dropped out of hyperspace so fast that the hull began to glow from the stress. He launched every shuttle he had, racing down to the planet's surface with his disruptor device. 2 minutes. his engineer reported. The weapon is almost at full charge. Shin Woo-jin ran through underground tunnels that his teams had mapped during the slave liberation. Behind him, his engineer struggled to keep up with equipment that might save 8 billion lives. They reached the weapon chamber with 30 seconds to spare. Attach the disruptor now, Shin Woo-jin shouted. His chief engineer connected the device to the weapon's core with 15 seconds left. The disruptor activated, sending electromagnetic pulses through the weapon's control systems. For a moment, the weapon continued charging. Shin Woo-jin held his breath, waiting to see if they would live or die. Then the weapon's power core went dark, vegan. System is secure, he reported to Admiral Lee. Ji-ho, 8 billion people owe their lives to human engineering. But not every mission succeeded. On the Zephyr system, Lieutenant Commander Park Soo-hyun arrived 5 minutes too late. He could only watch in horror as the planet killer activated and turned the system's star into a supernova. 4 billion people died in an instant of light brighter than creation itself. I'm sorry, Park Soo-hyun whispered, to the empty space where a world had been. We tried to save you. When the 6-hour deadline passed, Admiral Lee Ji-ho received reports from across the galaxy. Of the 300 planet-killer weapons, his people had disarmed 212. 88 worlds had been destroyed, along with everyone living on them. It was a victory and a tragedy at the same time. Humanity had saved most of the galaxy, but the cost had been terrible. Nearly 100 billion innocent people had died because the Federation chose genocide over surrender. Lee Ji-ho broadcast a message to every surviving world in the galaxy. This is